Well, it's your get up and go to work time. I work nights, and it's 3 hours past my bedtime. This is the middle of the night for me. So what do, you ask? Well, I'm a house mom at the Diamond Cabaret. I saw the Diamond Cabaret, look. And the
It's a wonderful
Diamond Cabaret, what's that look? Well, I'll tell you. The Diamond Cabaret is Colorado's finest gentlemen's club. And for those of you who still haven't a clue, a gentleman's club is a euphemism for a strip bar. So what does a house mom do, I'm always asked. Well, I do pretty much what a regular mom does. When I go in, I tidy up the dressing room. And there's usually someone who says, Mom, I ripped my dress, can you mend it for me? And I do that too.
We have a patron.
We also have one of Colorado's finest steakhouses that the Rocky Mountain News says serves excellent steaks about the size of a Sunday roast, and they're not afraid to charge for them. So, as my duties as a house mom, I also handle the money for some of the dancers who are too busy to take care of it, or who've had a bit too much to drink and get careless with it. I also break up arguments before they get out of control. And if someone has had too much to drink, I tell the management in valet parking that they should not drive home. And also, I am a mom substitute, since in many cases, the dancers' real mothers have no idea what they do. So I bet that's an interesting group of people to work for, people are always telling me. And it is, but for reasons other than what most people think. I find that they're a gutsy group of gals, and I've learned to respect them. About a third to a half of them are mothers, and almost all of them are married or involved in a monogamous, significant other relationship. Also, they are adventurous. About a fourth of them are going to college or some other technical school. Since there is no lack of employment for them, a good many of them travel around the country or even around the world. I also found that there are many of them that manage their money quite well, and I have seen young women who are able to retire for life before they're 30. I have also seen young women who I've also seen young women who have gone to the opposite extreme. I have seen some, sadly, who've turned into coke addicts and alcoholics, sometimes before the age of 20. I have seen young women who have bought their own businesses or their own homes at the age of 22, 23. There's a lot of good things and a lot of bad things in the business. It tends to make some and break others. So that's what I do for a living, and who am I? Well, I'm a mother. My 2 children are grown. I'm also an author. I've written a book called The Denver Job Search, Survive Unemployment and Land the Right Job Fast. For I discovered when I did that, when I gave up the notion of the only thing I could do or what I had to do for a living, and I set off in the world to be adventurous and do what I wanted more than anything else, which was to write and to gamble that I'd make it, that my life took on a whole new meaning and a whole new way of looking at the world. And so, to me, it is not as important to have a good job as it is to have one that you love that turns you on. I also had another significant event that helped me in my life. At the time, I thought it was destroying me. I was diagnosed with a terminal illness, multiple myeloma, which is an insidious bone disease. And I overcame that, but that's another story. But it did give me a very strong conviction that a person has the right to assisted suicide. for the complications of multiple myeloma and many other horrible diseases are debilitating, painful, and horrifying at the end. And I believe that everyone has the right, although they don't have any control over how they come into the world, they have the right to control how they leave it. And I think it should be legalized for a person to have someone there. So when there is no hope, the suffering, either mental, physical, or both, gets so bad, so strong, that they can say enough. And they can have someone there to help them and guide them through the end and let them die with grace and dignity. So that's about me, all wrapped up in a little shell. And I figured that there might be some people here that are interested after what I've said. And so if there's anyone who would like to know about stripping, you can see me after the meeting.